I'm gonna do better lighting, and I may use a mic. But so I was gonna do the live tomorrow, but I decided to do it today because I've been smoking and I'm not smoking today. And I'm not gonna smoke tomorrow. So I want my head to be a little more clear when I'm writing. When I'm writing, so instead of working on the grant today, I'm gonna work on it tomorrow. Yeah, and I'm messing it up, girl. So instead of working on it today, I'm gonna work on it tomorrow. And I said, since I had some free time, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it today. It is. It's so good. It is so good. And it's the first thing I ate today. So let me put that bowl down before I be to eat all of it. Give me some water. Let me take that pill, girl. Now where was I? Back to the gumbo. So after I finish devouring this gumbo, I want to get into this topic because I hear so many trans people and gay people talk about this. And I have a different opinion. Like, I think it's some truth to it, to what you always hear. But you know at Laylam they learn. We have to play the whole tape. Girl, this gumbo so good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yesterday I was cleaning up all day yesterday. I did not finish cleaning up until late at night. Safari made it home safe from driving me. Child, this gumbo giving me the itis. And it's vegan gumbo. Like, why am I getting the itis? Or maybe it's the peppermint oil in that lamp. That was so good. That was so good. Okay, let me center myself before we get ready to do this topic. Mm, healing is flowing through the body. I'ma stand on business in this video. I'ma stand on business in this video. Damn, that combo was good. I'ma stand on business in this video. Damn, that gumbo was good. Oh, standing on business. Standing on business. 10 toes down. Oh. Stand on business. 10 toes down. Not about to play in my face. We're gonna play the whole tape. Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, so that was the last little bit. So I wanted to oh, got a little mushroom stuck in my teeth. So, um, I want to talk a little bit about who's copying who, because I hear a lot of the community saying that, a lot of things have been stolen from black trans women, and then you hear black women saying they want to be me, they want to be me. So one side is saying they want to be me, and the other side is saying you stole this from me, you're stealing our culture. And as someone who is just like sitting back watching the play, just watching everything, I want to introduce this perspective, the Laylim Layler perspective. And I feel like we borrow from each other and we inspire each other. And I feel like it's like an infinite loop and things progress. You add to it, you help to expand it. And I just find it interesting. I don't know if this narrative that, black women are stealing from trans people or black people are stealing trans culture, and that trans women are copycatting cisgender women or biological females. I don't know if this is like a purposely created narrative to keep us pitted against each other, and if it's just kind of like entertainment for the internet, like is this how we josting or something? Because I feel like it's all under the umbrella of womanhood, and I feel like what trans women, like that's trans women's contribution to womanhood. Like trans women have contributed a lot to womanhood, and it was inspired by womanhood. It wasn't inspired by specific like like when black women who were born female feel like none of it would be possible if it weren't for them. Um, to some degree, that's true, but we don't know what reality we would be living in if the split had never happened, because clearly there was a split that happened that made the beings who got the womb in this reality have a certain amount of value, because you have to bring beings here to work this plantatrix, and the beings that y'all have been bringing here, um let me just say, we're a far cry from our ancestors, and that's just on facts. We talk down about slavery because of how slavery was presented to us, but those people just seem like, when I look at my great great grandmothers, they may not have had the access to information that we had, but physically, they were a lot healthier than we are. Physically, they were a lot healthier. They didn't have all the access and all the information that we got, but they lived longer and they were healthier. They drank real water from wells. They ate food from trees and gardens. And so, unfortunately, they had been heavily conditioned by colonialism. But our great great grandmas and great grandmas and great grandpas, they were physically and spiritually much better off than what we see now. Like, you didn't hear about all of these diseases and all of these things that affect the mind and affect the body, going on with our ancestors. The best thing they had for us was cancer. And if you ask me, cancer had a lot to do with being extremely stressed out, because you were living in a nation and a society that was designed without you in mind, that was designed not to consider you. Not You were an afterthought. You weren't you weren't a part of the blueprint when the plans were being drawn up. It didn't have nothing to do with you. And so it makes sense that people, most cases where I hear about people getting cancer, it's always associated with stress and worry, and I just think that um our ancestors, who knows, maybe they were stressed because deep down inside they knew it was something up with the religion. They knew they was being conditioned. Maybe they were stressing because of the political climate that did not seem to favor deeply melanated people, people who possess negritude. Like, if you think about that, like, the one of the first things that we really see. Well, I can speak for my family. I can't speak for everybody else's family. But one of the first things, like, we always hear about sickle cell, and I have a sickle cell trait. Um, but we always hear about sickle cell in the black community. But for the most part, what I've seen impact black people outside of the drugs that the government has introduced to the community, outside of the weapons and the military artillery that they have flooded the community with. Outside of those things, what we have seen is, cancer. You used to hear, oh, my great grandma got cancer, or oh, they got breast. Like cancer was the thing 30 years ago, 40 years ago. You would hear it so often that a family member had cancer, but you never really heard about any of the other diseases. And it was after they had lived a long life. It was after they had lived a very long life. And so, you know, what's being brought into this reality now, we get on the internet and we see a couple of anomalies of these amazing children, and most of the time these children have all of the resources and all of the access at their disposal, but for the most part, the ingenuity and the creativity, child, that was generations ago. I mean, you could look at the music that we putting out now. You could look at the stories that we're telling now. Like, it's really about entertainment. It's really about like there's always been some element of fun and the party, but the messages have changed. Like, it's like people have a short attention span now. People just want to be entertained. People want to party. People want to turn up. And so, like the culture, society itself is deteriorating. It's deteriorating. And this division between trans femmes and cis femmes, or biological females and trans women, this discourse between us of who is taking from who's stealing from who, it only adds to the deterioration of society. It's like you want to see the best for black people. You want to see us prosper. You want to be proud to be black. But when you see, you know the most simple minded people um got an opinion on everything, and they always in your comment section, and I'm like, are they real people or are they bots? Like, are they, like, you can't be a real person. Like, some of these people gotta be bots. And they come in your comment section and they have all of these negative things to say, but they don't have no content. They don't. You can't Google them and find out anything about them. You can't do any research on them. But they got so many opinions about you, and so I look in these comment sections and I see all of these pick Mishas and all of these Delulu Mays, and it's on both sides. It's on the trans side, and it's on the female side. It's on the trans side and it's on the cis woman side. Like, oh, y'all stealing from us. Y'all stealing from us. Y'all copying us. Y'all got the makeup from us. Y'all got the hair from us. Y'all started going to get y'all body work done from us. Okay, we are pulling from each other. We are drawing from each other. We are inspired by each other. Why can't that not be the narrative? Because whatever trans women have contributed to this reality, there was an inspiration. And perhaps it's not these hating ass Delulu Mays and pick me's that be having all this smart stuff to say, but perhaps it's a woman who was born, into that narrative, born with the vagina. Maybe it's someone who is not toxic and someone who is not self-hating that inspired you. And it's okay to say that and not allow, the pick me's, and to allow the Lulu Mays to convince you to just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna shade the whole cis woman community. I'm just gonna shade all of them. All of y'all stealing from us. All of y'all copying off. Like, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Because, I said before in a previous video, and I say it again in this video, ain't no blueprints. Ain't no blueprints. The blueprint don't exist, during this paradigm. Like, the blueprint, that was our ancestors who not even here no more. Like, for real. They're not even here no more. We we finna gather punks together. Cause that gumbo is made with love and wholeness. Yes, honey. Yes. I'm gonna tell Safari you said that. Oh, thank you, Jenya. Am I saying that right? TS turning tuning forks. It feels like we're competing over who created what, and who appreciating each other's contribution. Wait. It feels like we're competing over who created what and and who appreciate it instead of appreciating each other's contributions, right? Because like let's appreciate each other. Like when we gonna hear that, like when we gonna get there? Like when it's gonna be that? Like instead of saying, well, we did this and y'all copying off of us, and y'all did this and y'all copying off of us, and if it wasn't been for us, is that like when we gonna move? Like when is that gonna stop being centered? Like when are we not gonna center? Like when somebody gonna take the higher role? Like when we gonna see that become the dominant conversation and that be put to the forefront? Because you know one thing about America, it loves pitting women against each other, no matter what kind, no matter whether it's cis or trans. One thing America love to do is pit women against each other. And when I tell you these children fall for the okey doke every time. Every time these children fall for the okey doke. And we wonder why there's yet to be a woman, whether she was born female, or whether she was, we have yet to see a woman in the White House. We have yet to see a woman as the Pope. We have yet to see a woman reach those high heights, because one thing that women gonna do is gonna fall for the okey doke and be out here cat fight with each other. Meanwhile, the punkyarchy is continuing to snatch the bag. Girl, we alchemized the women constructed. We alchemized the women construct and alchemized in a creative, artistic form. I think technology furthered the division very deep. The man and woman construct are the punk script template. the gender aesthetic war part of the gender aesthetic war part of the halflings archetype, products manufactured, sold, and shipped by the patriarchy. The construct was given to women to perform and initiate their role into the patriarchy. They never created it. You better say that. Hi everyone. Hey Jenny. Hey Zania. So but yeah, that's where I'm at with it. Like it's like we sitting up here arguing about who contributed what, who added this, and let's be clear, like the base template was created by the patriarchy. Now when they created the template for womanhood, of course they created the template for beings who was born with vaginas, who would assimilate and be groomed to be women. And there was a specific role that they were supposed to play. You know, they were supposed to be the helpmate. They were supposed to be the help, basically. You know, carry my children, cook, clean, be barefoot and pregnant. You know, take care of the house, and I'm gonna go out here and do man things, and you're gonna be at home. And during that time, I think that the trans films who were existing, you know, they had to be deep stealth. You know, they had to be deep stealth. You know, they had to, like, we're hearing all the time about trans people who were in the industry, and the industry did not reveal their trans status and all of the amazing opportunities that these trans people had, but were never able to, you know, expose um who they were never able to share their identity and share who they were, because they had to fit into the script for women. You know, they had to come in and perform what had been set forth for women. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think a lot of trans women were able to come in and dominate because the script was written by men. And so trans women being able to connect with that, being able to, being two spirited, a lot of us being able to connect with the punkyarchy in a way that some women could not. They were able to come in and look at the script and kind of like, okay, I'm finna add my little bells and whistles. I'm finna tweak this script out a little bit. Um, and I'm finna take this to the next level. Like I'm finna level this script up. That's what some trans women did. That's what some of them came in. They looked at the script and they resonated with the script because their inner punk was like, okay, I see you. I see, like they was like spiritually, they was like they spiritually saw the punks who wrote the script. Like they spiritually connected with the punks. And I'm gonna say this because when I was younger, I wanted, like when I did before marriage was legal, and I got I told y'all yesterday that my mama never got married, but I wanted to get married because I when the script was first, when I first looked at the script, I wanted to be the virtuous woman. I wanted to be married. I wanted my father to walk me down the aisle and give me away because I wanted to be normal. I couldn't be normal as a man. So I said I couldn't even perform that. So I was like, well, I resonate more with the woman. I resonate more with this script. I feel like if any of these scripts I could actually do, I could do the woman script. And and the crazy thing about it was when I had bottom surgery, like I said, I had to take the testosterone. And when I had to take the testosterone, that's when I had to have that healing conversation with my inner child, with the little boy, this society was trying to get me the dead name, was trying to get me to kill him. They wanted me to erase him. They wanted me to pretend like he never exists. And that was the setup the whole time for what's happening now. See, if we would have never let them give us that dead name language and let them try to make us bury that other part of ourselves, and we would have stayed true to wholeness. See, and this the crazy part. They said that when America started, when America's getting ready to start, there's stories that we don't hear about. So, when they came in and, they say slaves came over on slave ships, but I am of the mind that most of the slaves was already here because I believe that dark skinned people have populated the entire planet. And so I believe that there were dark skinned people here. I think that they, when they got ready to create the system of black and white, they wanted to use the lighter skinned indigenous people to breed with them, so that this could be a part of the ploy to say, okay, this is what indigenous looks like. And then they took the black people and they said they reclassified them and they started calling them slaves and what not have you. But when they came here, there was probably two spirited people here. There's probably people that did not fit into the constructs. There was masculine and feminine females, masculine and feminine males, and they probably had high ranks in the tribe, was respected. They were sages, had wisdom. And when they came here and they saw this, they was like, this does not align with colonization. We're not going to be able to get these people where we want. Because, I remember when I was younger, people used to always come to me asking for advice. Like males would come to me asking for advice, females would come to me asking for advice. They will come to me asking, for beauty tips and how to, beautify themselves. I remember before we used to get ready to go to the club on the weekends, I literally my one of my female cousins was like the most popular girl in my hometown when I was growing up. So all of her friends would, like, there was a time where all of her friends would be at my house and I would be curling all of them hair. Like I would be putting all of them lashes on. I would be doing all of them makeup. It'd be 9 or 10 of them, like literally sitting in the house, and I'm the last one to come out because I've been doing all they hair. So by the time I get out, and I ain't charged because I wasn't no cosmetologist. I just like doing things like that. So by the time I make it out, it's midnight because I done helped everybody else with their makeup and helped everybody else with their hair. But I think back and so I feel like we were that energy back then because you see this also with Frances Thompson, who was a part of the Reconstruction period. She had housed a lot of black females. They were staying with her, and these soldiers broke in their house. These white Irish soldiers broke in the house and raped them. And Frances Thompson got on the stand and testified, and her testimony did a lot for black people during the Reconstruction period. So we have always had like this energy and community where we were like the protector and the nurturer. We were the healer and the warrior. Like that's just that two spirit energy. So when the colonizer came over here and the colonizer saw that, the colonizer said, "Oh no, we got to get rid of them." And so there are stories about how they were killing how they were unaliving the two spirited people, how they were taking the two spirited people's lives. Now, they say media is the most powerful tool. They don't have to put their hands on you like how they assassinated Martin Luther King and how they assassinated Malcolm X and how they assassinated Medgar Evers and how they assassinated Kennedy and how they ran a shot of secure out of the country. They don't have to do that to you now. They can use media to politically destroy you. They can use media to assassinate your character. And so that's what they've done in the eyes of the public. They assassinate our character because they don't want the cis women and the cis men who used to come to us for advice on how to deal with their relationships, how to beautify themselves, how to just how to add more pizzazz to their life, and just how to be more colorful and creative, and how to they don't want us to have that relationship. But that's always been the race. Like remember the movie Holiday Heart? Like there are little nuggets that show you who we have always been, our role, what we played in community. Even in the Bible it says, "Let not the eunuch say that I am a dry tree, for those who keep my commandment and choose the things that please me shall have a name better than that of sons, and daughters shall have an everlasting name that shall not be cut off." In my poem, I talk about how we were interpreters of dreams and how we were advisors to kings and queens. And so trans people and non-binary people, because we are able to walk between the worlds, we have always been those beings that were able to provide guidance and were able to contribute to society spiritually because of that esoteric wisdom and the fact that we were touched by ancients. And so in order to change how we see each how society sees us and how people see us, they've they've pushed us into areas where we have to do things that compromise our integrity. They take job opportunities away from us. So we oftentimes are reduced to sex work. They have made us look like we were abominations, and so we are oftentimes not as spiritually empowered as we should be. Like they cut off us being welcomed to spaces that would help bring us into balance so that we could step into who we are. They purposely cut us out of spaces, and they only make certain spaces available to us, and a lot of times those spaces are compromised, those spaces are dangerous, those spaces lack the emotional, mental, and spiritual support we need. Those spaces lack resources, those spaces lack access. And so a lot of us are not fully realized, and our third eye is not open because we're still in survival mode. We haven't able to access the spaces that have allowed us to be able to just sit back and have the opportunity to think about who we are inwardly. And so we've just been trying to master the script that they set in front of us. You know, a lot of us are still reading from that script, and it's created a huge problem. Like, this is just a huge problem, you know. Um and when I first came into this movement and I first started doing this work, I did a lot of reading, and I learned about the Babylonian period. You know, I learned a lot about, you know, the matriarch and trans femmes. You know, we were respected in the matriarch. Like, when you read, there's one mention of a eunuch, and that actually tells a story. And the eunuch held a high position um for the queen. I'm gonna see if I can look that up. Let me see if I can look that up. The scripture about the eunuch being the scripture about the eunuch being baptized in the Bible. Okay, here you go. The story of the Ethiopian eunuch being baptized is found in Acts 26 and 40. It details how Philip, an evangelist, encounters the eunuch, who is a high ranking official reading from the prophet Isaiah. After Philip explains to him, the eunuch expresses his desire to be baptized. They find water on the road, and Philip baptizes him. The eunuch is a respected official of Ethiopian Queen Candace and is returning from Jerusalem after worship. Now, mind you, they say that Philip baptized the eunuch. So the eunuch was not Christian prior to this. The eunuch was not a part of the Ponkiarchy. Neither was the Ethiopian Queen Candace. There was a different religion. So they didn't mean to give this tea, but they gave this tea. They showed you that the eunuch was highly respected and had a high ranking in the court of the Ethiopian Queen Candace. Now, how they twisted it on us was they turned the eunuch into a Christian. So they inducted the eunuch into the Ponkiarchy. But before the eunuch became a part of Christianity and came into the Ponkiarchy, the eunuch, whatever faith they were practicing, whatever spirituality they had over there, the eunuch had a high-ranking respect in the court of Queen Candace, was not an abomination, was not looked down upon. And see, they're using he pronouns and And a lot of times they often depict eunuchs in a way that is not reflecting of how a eunuch would actually look. And they do that purposely because they want you to imagine eunuchs as cisgender looking men. But if a eunuch, but 9 times out of 10, if you've had your testicles removed and you've had them removed at a young age, you're not going to age as a male. You're not going to age like a male. Your body starts to change in a way that is not reflective of masculinity. So the eunuch probably had some flawless ass skin, was glowing all the time, and was soft as butter. But they're not gonna tell you this. they're not gonna they're not gonna like literally when we watched the movie Alexander the Great, they literally put the women, the eunuchs, and the children, they made sure they were safe before the men. It wasn't just the women and the children, it was the women, the children, and the eunuchs. Because the eunuchs was helpful to the household. They was helpful to the family, but they was helpful to nation building, to community building. But again, his story is always gonna tell you bits and pieces, and it's rarely gonna play the whole tape. The gender costumes are basically the same, designed in different forms to create the split linear mindset. They set us up to transfer from the man to the woman act instead of detecting the binary system, instead of detaching from the binary system altogether, right? I wanted the Disney princess life, but now the halfling nightmare can suck it. Right. Cause I ain't gonna lie, when I was younger, honey, I wanted my daddy to give me away. I wanted him to walk me down the aisle. Child, I was over there. And then when I got married the last time, me and my partner took each other last name. We never got our names officially changed. But my marriage certificate says, because I didn't legally change my name to Kaneen because I don't want it on no bills or no shit like that. But my marriage certificate says, um, Tila Pantaleon Love, or Tila Love Pantaleon. But he took my last name and I took his last name too. So his name was Fricel Love Pantaleon. And so we hyphenated. Like we both took each other last names because shell we not I'm not there. I'm not there anymore. The stone has been rolled away. I'm not there anymore. They wanted the mixed mulattoes to be the face of the Aborigine people, erasing the dark skinned beings that were already here. They couldn't take the two spirited. That's right. Having the Asian and Mexican people to be the indigenous people, two spirited people, two spirit, and pose and perform our culture and practices. The punk media is the atomic bomb for the middle. That's why they never talk about and promote the dark skin. And in any culture around the world, they gonna hide them in the Latinos. They gonna hide them in the Asians. They hide them everywhere around the world. But baby, we were there. We've always been there. They wanted the real two spirited beings trapped in sex slavery and 3D appearances. The warlock punks in whiteface trying to keep us under the programmed MK puncture. I can't wait to be and you do this podcast. You gonna have me cackling. Not MK Potra. MK Potra. I am done. under the programmed in the MK Puncture prison cell. We're back after these messages. Child, the eunuch was sacred Egyptian practice. They whitewashing and switching to a man, and they was talking about a woman. Exactly. I'm learning that the eunuchs were top tier ranking. Exactly. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pin that right there. I'm gonna pin MK Puncture. Because, baby, that sounds like another word. So, yesterday we had, I gotta go back to that video yesterday. We had Plantatrix. We had, was it Transtatrix? I know it was Plantatrix and, and None Fair. Wait, was it None Fair? Particle. Yeah, non-fair particle. Yes, non-fair particle. Non-fair particle. And we got plantatrix and trantatrix. Yes, honey, that's what it was. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Yes, honey. Yeah, but that's what I wanted to touch on in here is that when it was a matriarchy, before it was a patriarchy, um we had high ranking. We were respected by the queens, like powerful queens, and we held them up like we were the backbone, to the matriarch, and we never get credit for that. We never get credit for that. You have females who are not playing the whole tape, who are making it look like it was just them and the matriarch, and that we was just some men in wigs. But, sweetheart, that goddess energy does not um does not center itself based on genitals. That goddess energy can flow through all of us, and it doesn't matter what's between your legs. That goddess energy, like, a lot of times, the reason why the matriarch, or the reason why the queen or the ruler had to be a cis person is because they had to secure the bloodline. So the only reason why the eunuchs and the queer people were not the rulers were because we weren't procreating. We were living instruments that communicated with the ancestors, that communicated with spirit, that communicated with source. We were the avatars for that. We were alchemizing that energy. We were sorceresses, and we were priestesses and high, like, we did things, like, but we weren't, like, procreating. And that's why a lot of cis people were the leading power, because that's why they were made the kings and the queens, because they were going to procreate. A lot of us weren't into that. It tells you in the spirit of intimacy. Hold on. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Okay, I'm back, y'all. I needed to go and get this because I want to show y'all this. See this book right here? Now, it's the spirit of intimacy. It's the teachings. It's ancient African teachings. And in the final book, it's called The Spirit of Intimacy. And in the final chapter, I think it's chapter 13, it may be another chapter after that. But in chapter 13, it teaches that a lot of us did not believe that our partners, when I say us, I'm talking about trans masculine and trans feminine beings. I'm talking about non binary people. We did not believe that our partners existed in this dimension. And so we had, this was before this was a patriarch. When we started to subscribe to the patriarch, because that was the brainwashing that had happened to us, we were brainwashed into wanting what cis people had. We wanted to do what they did. We didn't need to pair in that way because we were whole. We were two spirited. We literally were connect. We were whole. We weren't halflings. No tea, no shade to people who have to pair in order to feel whole. But we did not need to pair. We were already a pair within. We were already a pair inside. And so, but when you are the minority and when you are in a society that does not let you live up to who you are and does not allow you to be everything that's in you, when they shame you and they condemn you, you feel like the only way that you could be of value and the only way you can make things work and the only way you can make it right is to assimilate. And so if you know that you can't perform, if you know that you were born male and you can't perform manhood, or you was born female and you can't perform womanhood, then what choice is it? If you feel like you resonate more with your fathers, then your choice is, well, hey, society is not going to accept me around here, teeter tottering. Like, they don't want to see it. So you have to try to blend in. And so how do you blend in? You blend in by looking less androgynous and by looking more cisgender. And then you have to start doing everything that the cis people are doing. And because it's hard when you walk between the lines and you look androgynous because wholeness is persecuted. Wholeness is persecuted. Wholeness is persecuted. Wholeness is not respected or celebrated in this reality. So you have to pick a side in a binary system. And so because the chosen people, the two spirited, the eunuchs, because we are the minority in this society and the majority believe in taking a partner and procreating, and this is the way to sustain this plantatrix. We have been brainwashed, and now we've lost our sovereignty. In many cases we've lost our autonomy because we're trying to seek the approval of the ones that we used to guide and the ones we used to teach. And I definitely feel like, I don't think that this is totally the fault of cis people. I don't think that this is totally the fault of the punkyarchy. I think at some point somewhere, like, I think that a lot of things are karma. Nothing happens by chance. Like, I think that they say that when black people did slavery, it wasn't the same. Like we've never seen slavery as cruel as when the white people did it. And hey, the student becomes the teacher and the student gonna always try to one up. So if we were doing it first, and even if we weren't doing it as bad, I still think in some ways this might be karma. And I think that some of our ancestors who were eunuchs and two-spirited people, I think that they coveted what the cis people had. Um, I think that they coveted what the halflings were doing. I think that they became envious and they was like, "Oh, I don't want to be like, I don't want to give prophecy and talk to my lover in another life. I want to lay with somebody here. I want to get married. I want to have what they got." And I think that that's a part of what happened. I think that our ancestors got tired of the spiritual love on another plane, and they got tired of having to be so disciplined and having to be so spiritual. And it was like, child, I want to eat a greasy pork chop. I want to cut up. I want to do what the halfling's doing. I'm just like, this is why me? Why me, pretty much? Girl, why? Girl, I want to roll around in the mud. I want to eat slop. I want to get down in the mud. I want to live, honey. We came down here to live. Why do I have to be this celestial being walking on earth? Let me just roll around in the mud, bitch. I think that some of what's happening to us is the karma of those choices. To whom much is given, much is required. And some of our ancestors was just like, some of our ancient, two spirit, non binary ancestors was like, child, I want to be a king. I want to be a queen. I'm tired of advising kings and queens. I want to be the king. I'm tired of advising queens. I want to be the queen. I want my bloodline to carry on here on the physical plane. We started coveting them. And that opened the door to the fuckery. We lost our way. The powerful goddess resides in the two-spirited. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. We were the high-ranking empress, high-ranking and empress, and also the queen. Too quiet as it's kept. The powerful goddess resides in the two-spirit. 100%. Um, it was the brainwashing and thinking a man outside from us can save us and disconnect us from our wholeness. I feel like now it can be a balance in saving yourself and doing the inner work and having a reflecting partner that mirrors your divine energy, um, to do the same, and y'all connect and build. And you know what? I want that for you and Nadia. But at this point in my life, um, I think whatever chance we had of that, for me, you're still young. I think you could definitely find it. You're still young and beautiful, and so I definitely feel like you can find it. But for an older being like me, who has, I think sometimes I'm too wise for my own good. I know a little bit too much, and these halflings. I met a man on the way to the store. I was coming from the store just now, and he asked me, could he help me with my grocery bags? And then after I said no, thank you, he said, "Can I have your number?" Not, are you seeing someone? Are you in a relationship? Is it okay? Are you free to talk? Just he went from, Can I help you with your bags? Skipped over, do you have anybody? Are you in a relationship? Wasn't concerned about any of that. And this was an older person. This was a person who was my age or maybe a year or two older. He was definitely in his 40s, mid to late 40s. And he said, he said, he went from, can I help you with your bags, which was nice, and I said thank you, to, can I have your number so we can talk later? Not, do you have a boyfriend? Are you in a relationship? Are you seeing someone? None of that matters. And I just feel like, thanks to the apps and thanks to this hookup culture where you can pick up a person pretty much like you can order something on Uber Eats. I think that for me has just shot the culture to pieces because men were already it was just it was already slim pickings, you know. It's so many, you know, like for every man on the planet, you know, if you're a cis straight man, a cis presenting straight acting man, you can have your choice of feminine males, you can have your choice of trans women, you can have your choice of different women of different races, you can have your choice of cisgender women. Like literally, if you are a man and you present as male and you are tall and you're handsome and you got a little money, you literally can have the pick of the litter. You can choose from gay males to trans women to non-binary to female, whatever you feel like eating, whatever's on the menu, you can have it, you know. And so with all of these, and then the internet introduces you to, you know how they say a sucker born every minute. That's the internet. A sucker born every minute. Every day, a new unaware, unconscious person is stumbling onto the internet, ready to make a fool out themselves, ready to ruin their life publicly, ready to put things out into the universe that they will never be able to take back. You know, every day somebody getting online and getting old, they just got old enough to set up an account. They just got old enough to start dating. And guess what? As sure as they're old enough to start dating, as sure as they're old enough to set up that account, there's a predator that's waiting in the wings to take advantage of that and will rather deal with that new booty that they can manipulate and mess over. Because, baby, I remember when I was 19 and 20 years old, how these predators used to run game on me. So, baby, now they got the internet where they could go from state to state, they could go from city to city, from town to town. Baby, they gas the whip up. And after they done ran through everything in their neighborhood and their town, they can gas the whip up and go into the neighboring town. Go 30 minutes out, 40 minutes out. Baby, they getting some bodies under their belt. And so just with the deterioration of, nobody cares about real connection and nobody cares about doing the work. You know, nobody really cares about that anymore. There's very few people that care about it, and it's unfortunate when you do meet someone that cares about it. Y'all are not sexually compatible most of the time. You're not sexually compatible. You 9 times out of 10 want the same thing. Because I've met so many gay men where we have the most amazing conversations and we have the most amazing spiritual connection. And bless his heart, you know, he was in the closet for the first 30 years of his life, pretending to like females, pretending to want to be with a woman, pretending. And some of them still stuck in that phase of pretending that they, you know, that they will still, they like, even though he been gay for 10 years, 15 years, he still feel like he have to prove something when he's talking to a trans woman or a female, you know, so that he will remain desirable to women, so he will have that masculine male capital. And so, you know, there are some gay men who fucked up on a whole different type of level. They don't want to be with a woman, but they still want women to want them. You know, so they play mind games with women because they want women to want them. But then they want the same thing you want. They want a man. And it's like you've been doing this for 10, 15 years and you still ain't comfortable with yourself, and you still feel like you have to play mind games with females so that they'll be attracted to you. You still feel like you have to play mind games with trans women so they'll be attracted to you. But and it's like you're feeling bad because like you want to stand on being attracted to men 10 toes down because you hid in the closet for so long. You hid in the closet for so long, and so you so proud now and so happy now that you could say boldly that I love another man and I want to be with a man, and I will put a penis in my mouth and I'll put a penis in my booty hole. Like you're proud to say that at this point. You're excited that you could say that and you could stand on business and say that, but you still want women to respect you and to want you. You still want trans women to respect you and to want you. And so you play mind games with trans women and you play mind games with females, but then at the end of the day you have to remind them that you want the same thing that they want. And so I feel like my connections have been with a lot of gay men, like, gay men who have experienced heartbreak and who have, gotten in touch with their feminine side. But child, they don't, they so proud to be able to finally admit that they like dick. They so proud to admit that they like booty hole and bottoming. They so proud to admit that now. And when you get you stand a chance on getting accepted into the punky archy if even if you a gay man, you still a man, and not only on top of that are you a gay man, but you are worshiping manhood, worshiping a male deity, and worshiping patriarchal culture. So they'll find a spot for you. They'll give you a seat at the table as a gay man because they know you about to worship dick. And so you don't want to lose that social capital. It's like, okay, they didn't accept me being gay. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to make it too spicy, confuse it by talking to a trans woman. I don't want to make it too spicy by dealing with a non-binary person. I don't want to make it too spicy, like by doing that. So I need to go ahead and keep it cute, and I'm just going, I'm not gonna mess with no I'm not gonna mess with no trans woman, and and if I do mess with a female, I'm just gonna mess with a female to get a baby. And I'm gonna act like I ain't really like it. Mm, they want to have a NPC in the Hell video game. It's a celestial, cosmic, multi-dimensional being living as a white person in in the American tragedy. Thank you, Pooh. You're a gorgeous goddess, but I completely understand. It's not a requirement or a necessity because everyone different and don't want love or don't care for it at a certain point, and I respect that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Most of these niggas are fucked up and want to be with each other. This is true. They ready to they ready to degrade themselves for some tiny coin, and the predators are very clever and stay under the radar smoothly. It's detestable and sick. The punks still want a straight bait and hold that macho appearance. That's right. They want to use women as a backup insurance plan for someone to coddle and condone their denial and delusion of the construct, and to shapeshift into. They have one foot in the box and the other and one foot out. They want to have their cake and eat it too, rock climbing and throwing their lips to the dick on the low and still claim punk privilege and have a woman as their beard. Child. So, and I'm not falling for none of it. Like, at one time I was willing to date a non-binary person. I was willing to date a gay man. Child, they all fucked up. The gay men, the non-binary people, and you know, um, I'm just over it. I'm not over life. I'm not over relationships. I'm not over people, but I could please myself. I could please myself. And I'm going to have to see way better, way better. Um, I'm gonna have to see some. I'm gonna have to. It's gonna have. It's child. They literally. I may literally need to see my partner walking down from the sky in order for me to do it. At this point, I might literally need to see them walking down from the sky or raising up out of the water in order for me to go for it. And it was so crazy because that's how I met my husband in South Africa. I met my partner who I was with for the whole 9 months I was there. We met in the Indian Ocean. And their head came up out of the water and they started walking toward me. And that was the only one that I was with the whole while I was there. That was the only one that I was with. We met in the water, and that was the only one I was with for 9 months. That was the only one I met for 9 months. And my other baby was an air or was a Gemini. My last husband was a Gemini. But yeah, so I think I said everything I wanted to say in this video. I didn't want to talk forever. I'm ready to I need to go ahead and do my dilation today, cause child, I'll be saying I'm gonna do it tonight, and bitch, I won't do it, cause I was supposed to do it last night and I did not. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some time and do my dilation, and then tomorrow I'm gonna work on that grant, go to the doctor, and yeah, those are the things that I'm gonna focus on. Child, I was burning some peppermint oil to make my room smell better. And girl, that motherfucking peppermint oil was so strong, bitch. My damn eyes was my eyes was burning for a minute. Like it's to calm down a little bit there, girl. But girl, that's why I was looking Chinese most of the video, girl, because the damn peppermint oil was in my damn ass. Like, it smelled good as fuck up in here, but that damn peppermint oil was burning my fucking eyes. But let me get off this phone because my battery just said 20%. Tomorrow I'm gonna set up next time I go live, I'm gonna set up the lights. But I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and I'm like I said, I'm gonna work on the grant tomorrow, so I'm probably not gonna post any live videos tomorrow. But I'm glad that we did this live today, and I enjoyed you, Jenny, and I enjoyed you, Anandia. Uh, Peppermint oil smells sexy. I love peppermint oil. It's irritating in the eyes. Right. It's done calmed down now though. It just smelled good. But it was burning my eyes at first. It's gonna take a divine cosmic miracle for a whole nigga that connects to their higher self to come across. That's right. That's right. Where the whole niggas at? I knew about 1% of that exists. Where the whole niggas at? Where the whole niggas at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Where the whole niggas at? Where the whole niggas at? Where the whole niggas at? Where they at? Where they at? Where they at? Wait a minute, wait a minute. Uh, uh, wait, hold on. So we gonna call them. So we gonna call them bigger, right? We gonna call them bigger, cause they part bitch and part nigga. Bigger. Where the biggers at? Where the biggers at? Oh look, where the niches at? Nithch. Where the niches at? The biggest and the niches. You hear me? I need a niche. I need a bigger. 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 I need a niche. I need a bigger itch, bigger itch, bigger itch, bigger itch, bigger itch, bigger itch. Give me bigger itch, a bigger itch. I need a bigger itch, 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 a bigger itch. Oh yes, I need a bigger itch, bitch. Okay. Have a gorgeous, beautiful day, boo. Okay. TS Notorious Niches, bitch. My name is Alina. I'm just transitioning for 4 years. And now I want to get a sexual reassignment surgery. I want advice from you. How can I give you my number privately? Sexual reassignment surgery. Um, So I want to be perfectly honest about where I am with the private counselizations on the sexual reassignment surgery. If you have been following me, I pretty much talk about everything on here. There's not any added advice that I could really give you about sexual reassignment surgery. Like I don't know if you don't know what doctor you're going to, or if you just nervous and you want to talk to somebody about the surgery. Do you have any trans people that you know personally who have had the surgery? Because that's who I would advise you to talk to first. You know, that's who I would advise you to talk to first. Like within your network, talk to those people first. Cause no tea, no shade. Um, a lot of girls, a lot of trans women, they will be like, "Hey, can you help me with this?" They don't know you until they need help with something. And so my opinion, to you is that reach out to girls who you know, girls who you have communicated with, girls who you have relationships with, and ask them, questions that you may need to ask about the surgery. Because I share everything that I want to share about the surgery live. I've done several videos talking about the sex change and talking about it. I don't really know what else I could give you. Like I have a whole series of videos that start off saying a sex change's opinion, the sex change. So my advice to you is to go through the content because I think I actually even named it that. But go through the content. If there's any and I mean here recently I've done videos talking about the surgery, so I don't know what other information I could give you, um yeah. Like if I knew you, like if you were in my network and you called me and you were like if me and you really knew each other and you was like, hey, or if me and you had been communicating a lot during in this comment section, like if you were a regular who engaged with me content wise, and then you was like, hey, I want to reach out to you, but one thing that I don't really care for is when people need something and then they reach out to you. You build a relationship with someone before you build that relationship and you build that connection before, and then so I mean I hope I tried to say that as thoughtful as I possibly could. And congratulations, and I hope you found a good surgeon, and I hope everything goes well for you. But like I said, I share a lot of information about that now, and just sitting up, giving private consultations, and you know, belaboring it, talking about it more. That's just not. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's not the frequency I'm on. I share what I want to share about the sex change online, and and if it's somebody who I know, like if it's a sister who I know personally, and we friends and we good Judies and we have invested in each other and showed up for each other, then yeah. But I'm not just like the hotline, when you getting ready to go through a surgery and you want to call me and it's just like, hey, call Kaneen. It's no tea, no shade. So like the first people that you should talk to is girls who you know personally have had the sex change. Oh. Oh. You're moving to DC or New York to have your surgery. Well, DC would probably. I mean, New York. There's plenty of surgeons here. The list is long for um Blueborn. Like a lot of people want to go to Blueborn, but she booked up. I know one of my sisters been waiting to get into Blueborn for 3 years. So Dr. Ting, they say he really good, and it's not a long wait. But Dr. Ting, he only do the penile inversion. And to be perfectly honest with you, if I would go for the penile inversion, but just be disciplined with that girl when you doing your dilation process because uh, these peritoneal flaps and these other procedures, chill. I don't regret it, but it's been a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So get you a motherfucking penile inversion and call it a day. get you a penile inversion and stretch that girl. Dilate like the people tell you to dilate. Keep that girl pushed open. Stretch, stretch, stretch. I appreciate your efforts and energy. I respect your boundaries. Period. Come on, TS, respect their boundaries. Do some deep research and go with what resonates. Leo, Leo says. Yeah. So yeah, but that's what I would say. Like, I think that there's the colon, there's the sigmoid colon. Doctors don't like to give girls that because it's the one that gives you the most complications, from what I hear. The peritoneal flap, the technology is new, so that girl can give you complications. But if you get the penile inversion, you may not have as much depth and you may not be as moist as you would be with a peritoneal flap, but the penile inversion is less maintenance, but you have to dilate, 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 dilate. Dr. Ting does good work. I know girls who can take 7 and 8 inches with a penile inversion. I know girls who have snatched husbands and who have been able to keep husbands with a Dr. Ting pussy. So he does wonderful work with the penile inversion. He makes some pretty coochies. Um, I went to this Indian doctor. His name is Dr. Purohit. Would I recommend him to someone else? Now, girl, you should go to Dr. Purohit. Now, and the reason why I would not recommend him is because he had a surgeon to come in and operate on my stomach with a robot, and he didn't tell me that that was going to happen until the day of. He didn't tell me that he was doing the he didn't tell me that he was just doing the face part, like he was, fixing the labia. He did do reconstruction. He's not bad at reconstruction, but it's just the things that I've been going through, and the surgeon that came in who I didn't even know, like the communication was not what it needed to be between me and him. He's a very attractive man, so that can be kind of distracting when you go in there, because he's a very attractive Indian man. So he could be very charming, a snake charmer. But I don't, like I said again, I don't regret, having it done, but I also would not refer any girl, because I was not happy with how he treated me. He wasn't rude, he wasn't mean, he wasn't nasty. I just felt like the communication was lacking. you know but that's with all these doctors. When I went to go and see Dr. Ting, because I was going to let Dr. Ting do my revision, but then Dr. Ting was talking like, I think I could give you some depth. I think I could give you some more depth. I think I might be able. I mean, like, bitch, I'm not trying to be put to sleep and lay up under a knife for you to tell me what you think you could do. Like, can you do it or not? Like, I'm not. You not. I don't want to be put to sleep and be cut on for what you think you might be able to do. I think I might, bitch. No, we not cutting on me for I think I might. Can you or not? So, but if it's your first time getting it done, so you got fresh stuff, so girl, he could work with that, girl. And especially if you ain't had nothing done, like if you ain't had no orchiectomy or nothing, girl, then yeah, he'll, I think, like I said, I know a couple of girls that still went to Dr. Ting, and I don't see none of them complaining. My daughter, I know for a fact that my daughter could take 7 inches, and the other girl that I know went to him, she could take like 8 inches, and it's the inversion. So and he does beautiful work. I saw both of their vaginas. So Dr. Ting does beautiful work. If I was gonna recommend somebody that was not a more evasive surgery, Dr. Blueborn, the waiting list is years. Dr. Ting, I don't think his waiting list is as long, but he only does penile inversions, and he is a good doctor from what I have seen. But I also know one of my sisters went to Blueborn, and child, she stopped messing with cis men. She's married to a trans man now, because his piece was too big. So her vagina is pretty, but it don't always mean you gonna have nasty depth, because you wait for Blueborn, because she went to Blueborn, and I think they used the robot on hers. They used the robot on her. So it wasn't no hella depth. But yeah. I didn't know you was that old, baby. Yeah, dilate, dilate, dilate. And what's a PPV? Thank you, Anadia. He a serpent punk. Don't let no slick sissy put no knife on you. Oh yes, I like two surgeons. One to build the face, and one to do the robotic surgery. I've saved up 60,000. All right now. with that type of coin, you should take a look at the Philippines. Okay? 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 $60,000? Bitch, I get on a plane. Bitch, I would not come to New York. I would get on a plane. Oh, the peritoneal. Baby, I would get on a plane with $60,000. I would get on a plane, honey. My sister Sultana went to Thailand and was there for a month, and she saved up for hers, and she didn't have that much saved, and she stayed there for a month, and her vagina is the most beautiful vagina I have seen on a post-op girl in all my life. That lady showed me that pussy and she opened her legs. And I thought she had threw that bitch in the air and it turned into sunshine, bitch. That bitch opened her motherfucking legs and her pussy opened like motherfucking rose petals. Her pussy motherfucking open like rose petals. Her pussy open like a flower in the springtime. She had multiple lips. Bitch, that pussy was gorgeous. That pussy was gorgeous. I've been considering Kamal Hospital in Thailand because I can see there. You could stay there for 6 weeks, and they will help me with dilation. Yeah, that's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Just make sure you could get back. Just make sure you could get back with this crazy administration. Cause child, you might be living in Thailand. Just make sure they let you back in the country. But child, when you look down there, you're gonna be singing a Prince song. Could this be the most beautiful cooch in the world? The reason that God made a girl. Baby, them motherfucking Thailand pussies. Fresh tilapia. Them motherfucking Thailand pussy. Thailand pussy. Motherfucking Thailand pussy. Yes. Only thing I'm scared of is a tsunami. Yeah, well, my sister who went to Thailand, she went she went in like she went in like December and she came back at the end of January, I want to say. Yeah, she was there. She went in December and I think she was there all of January and she might have came back in the beginning of February. But yeah, so she didn't tell me anything about any tsunamis or anything like that. The Thailand niggas be cutting up with that Empire Deluxe. Yeah, child. These I just think that American pussies, something about like American pussies look like little girl pussies. You never the lips don't never have no hang time. The lips, the lips don't have that hang time. Like pussy, the lips don't be lipping. We had these little tight baby looking pussies, like like newborn baby pussies, and so I don't know if that's what you like, then hey, I mean, but all of the biological vaginas that I have seen, and I guess it's because they've had babies or because, you know, the pussy was getting used. But I'm used to seeing pussies where they got some little lip hang time, and you don't really get that, in the States. They don't give you the hang time. They give you very much a pedophilic looking vagina, and I'm not complaining. It is what it is. It is what it is. But when I saw when I saw them Thailand coochies, them look like them coochies that they give you in Thailand say, "I'm a grown woman. I could do whatever I want." Them Thailand pussies say, "I'm a grown woman. I could do whatever I want." Them some grown woman. They handed out grown woman coochies in Thailand. And if you 60 years old, baby, you don't want no baby cooch. You don't want no cooch that look like no 4 5 year old pussy at 60. You want a grown woman pussy. You want a grown woman in Pawa. You want you a grown woman one. You want you a grown woman one. I said that wrong. I meant the Tyler niggas be having a ball hopping in the girls' empire expeditiously. I'm coming out. I'm gonna let them know. Gotta let it show. Well, I hope I answered. I hope I did a little help on the did a little help to your Leo Max jail. And I hope and I wish you good luck on your journey. I wish you good luck on your journey in selecting what surgeon is going to perform your empire. Why, honey? But let me go ahead and get off this live because I gotta use the bathroom. I gotta tinkle. I love y'all. I have truly, truly enjoyed y'all today. I thought I have truly enjoyed y'all today. Hold on 1 second. We're going to take this opportunity to light a candle. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. What happened here? Girl, what is going on with these cheap ass candles? Girl, what's going on with the cheap ass candle? Okay. Okay, so it looked like it's lit now. Okay, as above, so below, as within, so without. As above, so below, as within, so without. As above, so below, as within, so without. Thank you, ancestors of the past, the present, and the future. As we blow out this candle on the physical plane, it grows with intensity and purpose on the spiritual plane, preparing us for times that are now. Bound and round, both circle and square, we too speak life, so operations beware. Sending healing to those in despair, ill by both so I, which means we come in peace, no harm to any, lelem leler. Iangani, Yanko, Kalukalo, which means I am a child of God Goddess, and if I am, then you know you are. You don't have to be filthy rich to stand on business. I want to thank you so much for the dialogue. I appreciate you. Oh, no problem. I accidentally hid Leo's comments. She said she was going to get that designer grown woman pussy. I meant to say thank you and I appreciate you for the dialogue. I had caught it. But yeah, definitely like gone overseas and get that grown woman pussy. Anyway, I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming on to the live. And thank you for all of your support. And yeah, we had a good conversation. We had a good topic today. I love y'all and I will see y'all either Friday or I might do a little live Saturday at the event. But we'll definitely holler at each other again by Sunday. Thank you for the candles, Anandia, and thank you for doing your thing in the comment section. As always, love you. Talk to you later. Be well. Purple ones and gray ones rise, and that's one period.